This episode talks about power of attorney, family conflict, and elder financial abuse. It is for education and awareness only. It is not legal advice, financial advice, or a substitute for talking with an elder law attorney or qualified professional in your state. Laws about powers of attorney and abuse reporting are different in every state and country. If anything in this episode sounds like your situation, do not stop with a podcast. Talk to a trusted attorney, advisor, or adult protective services in your area. Let's start with the story nobody wants to believe could happen in their family. A woman in her late 80s, widowed, arthritis, can't drive much anymore. Her oldest son has always been the responsible one. Good job, handles paperwork, lives nearby. The family goes to a lawyer to get things in order. She signs a durable power of attorney, naming the son. Everyone is relieved. I just want to make things easier for you kids, she says. Fast forward 2 years. Her pension checks are still coming in. Her Social Security is still being paid, but there's never enough money in her checking account. Bills are late. The house needs repairs. She asks her son, "What's going on with my money?" He tells her she's spending too much. Things are expensive, and it's all handled. Don't worry. What she doesn't know is that he has added his name to her accounts, transferred money to himself and his business, cashed in one of her small retirement accounts, and is telling the rest of the family that mom is starting to get confused. By the time the other children get suspicious, tens of thousands of dollars are gone. And the son says, "I have power of attorney." Mom agreed. "I'm just managing things." Well, this episode is about that line. When the helper becomes the threat. When power of attorney, something meant to protect a senior, becomes the tool used to strip them of control and money. Let's be clear about what a power of attorney is supposed to be. A power of attorney, or POA, is a legal document where one person, called the principal, gives another person, known as the agent or attorney in fact, the authority to act on their behalf. There are two types of POAs. First is the financial POA, which pays bills, manages accounts, signs checks, deals with banks and insurance. Second is healthcare/medical POA, which makes decisions if you can't. Done right, a POA keeps you in control while you're competent. It gives someone you trust authority only when needed. It avoids guardianship or conservatorship fights in court. It prevents chaos when something goes wrong. The intention is protection and help. The problem is that a POA can also give someone a lot of power with very little day-to-day oversight. Banks will see a signed POA and say, "Okay, this person can act." Other family members may back off. "Well, you're the one in charge." The senior may feel like they no longer have the right to question what is happening. That's where and when abuse walks in. Most financial abuse involving a POA does not start with a cartoon villain. It starts with someone who has both access and excuses. Here are some common patterns that can be experienced. I'm just reimbursing myself. The agent starts taking cash for gas, small reimbursements without records, payments for all the time I've spent helping. At the beginning, it's small amounts. Then the amounts grow. Secondly, it's easier if I'm on the account. They add themselves as, for example, joint account holder, authorized signer, or they may move money into an account only they control. Suddenly, the senior and the money are gone. They're separated. Mom doesn't understand this stuff, is the third portion of the pattern. To other family members, they say, Mom's losing it. You're just confusing her. I'm the one who's been chosen to handle this. That's used to shut down the questions. Fourth, quiet access liquidation. They cash out CDs or small retirement accounts. They sell stock. They take lines of credit. Even quietly sell a car or other property. They often say it's for care or for bills without any clear records. Then we have number 5, isolation. Phone calls and visits are screened, limited, monitored, and anyone who asks questions is painted as a troublemaker. The senior can end up still alive, still cognitively functional enough to be scared and confused, but financially stripped and afraid to speak up because I signed the power of attorney. I guess this is how it works. So this is elder financial abuse, even if the abuser insists I'm just managing things. Let's talk red flags. If you're a senior or you're watching over a senior, the following are big warning signs that something is wrong with how a POA is being used. The first red flag is the senior suddenly doesn't see their own money. No access to bank statements, vague answers about account balances. Don't worry about it, I've got it handled. Red flag 2, bills aren't paid, even though income is still coming in. Shut-off notices, late fees, eviction or foreclosure threats, while pensions, Social Security, or investment income is still hitting the accounts. The third red flag involves major decisions made without the senior's knowledge. The accounts are closed or moved, investments sold, property transferred, loans taken out in the senior's name, and the senior hears only after the fact or even not at all. The fourth red flag involves other family members being shut out. The agent won't share basic information. That's none of your business. They refuse to share statements, even with the senior's permission. Then comes isolation. Narrative and narrative control. The agent limits calls, visits, and privacy. The senior starts repeating the agent's talking points. I'm bad with money. I can't understand it anymore. I'd be lost without them. The agent becomes the gatekeeper for all information. The sixth flag, the lifestyle suddenly changes. Okay? It doesn't match. The senior is scraping by. The agent is suddenly doing very well. New car, new toys, expensive vacations without a clear explanation. None of these alone prove abuse, but in combination, they should set off alarms. Okay, we understand what the issues are. Now we have to discuss how do you prevent these things from occurring? How do you use the power of attorney without turning it into a free pass for abuse? Remember, always talk to a real elder law attorney in your state in these situations. However, here are some suggested conceptual rules. The first rule is don't give one person total unchecked control if you can help it. Use co-agents or require 2 signatures for big moves if your state allows it and your lawyer agrees. Or give different people different roles. One for finance, another for healthcare, or one for day-to-day bill paying and another who must sign off on large asset moves. Rule 2, build in transparency. Decide up front that the agent must share statements regularly with the senior as long as they are able, and 1 or 2 other trusted members, another child, a sibling, or an advisor. Now, if someone refuses transparency, they shouldn't have the job. Third rule, use limited powers where possible. Not every situation requires a broad, everything-in-one PLA. Some documents can limit when power kicks in. Okay? For example, only when you're incapacitated. What types of transactions are authorized? Your attorney can again explain what's realistic and enforceable in your state. The fourth is put compensation in writing or ban it totally. Either clearly state any compensation the agent is allowed, for example, X per month, or reimbursement only with receipts, or state that the agent is not to be paid for routine family help unless the court approves. It's vague when it says, when the agent says, I paid myself. It is a huge abuse door. Rule 5, keep your own eyes on your money as long as you can. Ask to see statements, ask questions. If something doesn't add up, you've got to say so out loud. A good agent will welcome your involvement. A bad one will make you feel guilty for asking. Now comes the hardest part to discuss. What if you're already in the mess? Either you're the senior and you're worried your agent is taking advantage, or you're a family member and you recognize the red flags. Here's a general roadmap. Remember, laws differ by state. This is where professional advice truly matters. The first step is to document quietly. Gather what you can: bank statements, account numbers, copies of the POA documents, notes of what you've seen or been told. Do not tip off the abuser until you've talked to someone who knows the law in your area. Second step, talk to someone outside the abuser's control. An elder law attorney, an experienced financial advisor, in some cases, adult protective services or the equivalent. Describe what you're seeing. Ask what the realistic options are. Third, consider revoking or changing the power of attorney if the senior is still competent. Only the person who granted the POA, the senior, can revoke or change it if they still have legal capacity. That may require a letter or formal revocation, notifying banks and institutions, drafting a new POA with a different person or structure. This is a legal process. Do not wing it. Step 4, if there is clear theft, consider reporting. Depending on your jurisdiction and your advisor's guidance, that can mean adult protective services, local law enforcement, bank or financial institution fraud departments. Now understand, please, that this can blow up the family, all the relationships. But sometimes the money is gone either way. Your choice is between quiet loss and documented loss with a chance of action. The fifth, protect the senior going forward. Even if you can't recover what has been taken, you can still move any remaining assets out of the abuser's reach. Change who has POA or financial access. Strengthen oversight and transparency. The goal is not just punishment, it's stopping further harm. Ask questions. If something doesn't add up, say so out loud. A good agent will welcome your involvement. A bad one will make you feel guilty. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most elder financial abuse via power of attorney does not come from strangers. It comes from family or people treated like family. That doesn't mean you should live in paranoia. It means you should stop pretending that could never happen in my family as a protection. It isn't. Real protection is choosing your agent with open eyes, building in checks and transparency, not blind trust. Speaking up when something doesn't feel quite right, and being willing to get outside help if the helper becomes untouchable and offensive. Power of attorney is a powerful tool. Used well, it protects a senior's dignity and choices. Used badly, it is a crowbar, yes, to pry open your life savings. If you're a senior, you are indeed allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to protect yourself. If you're family or a caregiver, your job is not to be nice. about abuse. Your job is to protect the vulnerable person, even when the threat is wearing a familiar last name. Power, money, family, and aging is a very volatile mix. AI scammers and strangers are one problem, but sometimes the most dangerous scam is a legal document in the wrong hands. In our next episode, we go straight into another topic of great interest to impact on our seniors. It is the AI-driven technical support scam. AI scammers are getting better every day. So therefore, we have to watch or listen to offerings like the next episode, and then share this one with one person you refuse to see taken down by a scam. Thanks for letting us share our thoughts with you. Please like and subscribe, and be sure to leave your comments. Until the next time, this is Senior Power Community signing off.